Hello and welcome to the Envision podcast. I'm your host, Vanessa, and I'm so excited to have you join us today. Today's podcast is about empowering the blind and low vision community while exploring the transformative power of assistive technologies. So in today's episode, we're diving into a topic that's extremely close to my heart, about how we help people who are blind or have low vision land those fantastic jobs and grow fulfilling careers. I'm thrilled to have Seema Flower as our guest today. Seema is the founder of Blind Ambition, an incredible organization dedicated to supporting the blind and low vision community and individuals on career journeys. Seema is not only a successful entrepreneur in her own right, but she's also a passionate advocate for accessibility and inclusion in the workplace. Through Blind Ambition, she has empowered countless of individuals to achieve their professional goals. Seema, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Vanessa, for inviting me. It's an honor to be here.
Well, it's great to finally have our time together, and thank you. So, Seema, let's get started with your inspiring journey. Why did you create Blind Ambition, and what motivated you to start this incredible organization?
Well, I think I started it because I've had so many experiences where I've been disadvantaged because of my sight loss. I've got a condition which is called retinitis pigmentosa. I was diagnosed with this at the age of 9 years old. Last 10, 15 years, maybe a bit more than that, started to get worse. And so for me, it was a turning point in my life where I recognised that I wanted to work in the disability sector. Again, having run a chain of hairdressing salons for 13 years, except business in 2015, and coming back to the disability sector because I was quite passionate about, this particular group of people, one of which I am, an individual that share that the similarity in terms of sight loss, where 75% of people who are visually impaired of working age are not working. So I'm on a mission to try and make sure that we can, decrease that.
Yeah, fantastic. And you primarily UK focused, Seema?
At the moment, we're UK focused. We have many, many people from actually all over the world trying to get on WhatsApp community group. But a lot of our next project is actually going to be global.
Oh, wow. Well, let's come to that one in a minute. So I'm fascinated by that one. Yeah. And we're recording this towards the end of 2024. It's a time of reflection, right? Or is it the end of the year? But are there sort of 2 or 3 things that you're most proud of that you've achieved with through Blind Ambition? What are the 3 things that pop in your head for that?
3 things. So I think one of the things where we've actually managed to reach quite a few members of the community and get a community together, Blind Ambition community together, more of a movement. That's one of the achievements that we've got. Where we've got people together who have similar experiences, similar successes, and have passion, drive, enthusiasm to want to achieve and contribute to society. That's one of our achievements, I think, this year.
Yeah.
Another achievement will be where we've actually grown our business in terms of the offering for training for organisations. That's increased, and we're growing at quite a fast rate, which is brilliant. It's a steep learning curve for me in terms of having to manage that change, but it's a good problem to have. And the third thing that I think we've managed to achieve is that having more of a profile and presence in terms of raising awareness to the general public around issues faced by people with vision impairment, but not just vision impairment, other disabilities as well.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? You start with one, and then when you have their attention, it's always, most people have a combination of things, right? It's if you've got vision loss or blindness, it's a state of mind. That's really interesting on that general awareness and multiple needs, right?
It's like a ripple effect, isn't it?
It is.
Into the water, you have all those outer ripples. It's not just about the sight loss where you're grieving that ability you'll be able to see, but then also it affects so many other parts of your life, in terms of your social life, your cooking, your eating, your exercise, everything.
I know. Yeah, absolutely. And RP is progressive, unfortunately, or degenerative. I have it too, but it's much lower. Mine was diagnosed when I was 30, so much later in life. And I don't think it's everyone talks about it being on a kind of spectrum of vision loss, but everybody has their own journey, and it's sort of how you're lucky if on that you can slipstream into a movement, as you say, in an organization like Blind Envision. But that's amazing. It's so great to hear how you're making such a difference in so many ways. And of course, at Envision, we all about our communities and our movements as well, which is a great intersection for what both organizations are doing. But ours is coming from an area of assistive technologies and innovations around technologies. In the work that you're doing, how do you personally use assistive technology in your daily life? What are the main tools that you use every day, for instance? The sort of things that you're using throughout your day to run your business?
Okay, so the main tools I'm using is the Apple iPhone with the voiceover function, with the Bluetooth headphones and a keyboard. That's what I'm using every day. That's replaced my laptop. That's one of the main things that I use. But also, in addition to that, I just want to take us back to that time when we met in a coffee shop in London.
Yes.
When us demonstrated the Envision glasses to me, and I was absolutely blown away by the fact that they were so accurate, and I'll give you a brief description of what happened. So Vanessa said, put these glasses on, we'll have a quick test of these. And I pointed, took a picture of a certain direction, and then the narrative came in my ear telling me that there was a lady sitting down wearing a headscarf. She had a cup of tea or coffee in front of her. She was on the phone, and behind her was a picture on the wall with flowers and a vase in it. And that was so accurate. It was brilliant. It was really emotional for me. Do you remember that time?
Yeah, I do. I do.
And we had the menu, and I could take a picture of a menu. I haven't been able to read a menu for, God knows, 20 years, maybe more. I don't know. These sort of things, they are life-changing, and they mean so much to us because it gives us that little bit of independence back to us, the ability to be able to do something on our own. And it really is emotional. I can't tell you how emotional it is because it gives us that little bit of independence, but also that self-respect and dignity back where we're not having to rely on other people to give us information.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was fun. I remember it was a really good menu, and you'll be glad to know that I was back at that cafe not that long ago. Funny enough, with my husband before jumping again on the coach back down to the south coast in the UK, and the croissants are still as amazing as ever. I'll check the cafe name. Maybe we can put it in the notes below.
We'll have to, but we have to go again. You didn't take this time.
Absolutely. We'll put the glasses to test again. Well, that's brilliant. Yeah, I mean, of course, voiceover. And incredible, or talkback if you're on Android, of course. So this is sort of, for those listening, it's when your whole phone, every aspect of what's on the screen is spoken out to you. So, you've probably had this, right? How can blind people, why are they always on their phones? Can't see, right? And this is the whole education. Actually, I always think it's like...
Exactly. I have to explain to people, I've got my headphone in, you can't see it because I've got my ears are covered my hair. So yes, I've got a headphone. That's why I'm using my phone. But also, just to mention, there are the other apps that I'm using via my eyes.
Yes, very interesting. And we've had lots of questions about that, as you can imagine, wearables and AI coming together. And, it is super exciting. And, it's actually great. It's more choice, right? And that's all we want. And we're absolutely delighted that this sort of intersection of these wearables and AI coming together, because that's the space we've always been in. And it's really cool to see where that's going. And I think, I can anticipate next year that there's going to be more wearables out coming in. There already is a ton of them. It's going to be exciting to see where things go, of course, right? So, that's brilliant. And I had a question here to ask about experiences of the glasses. I think you've just explained that really, really well. So I'm not going to go back over that point again, but one question, and while we're on the technology subject, and then I'm dying to hear about this big thing you've got, international thing you're doing. One last tech question from my side. If there was one thing that the technology currently can't do and you wish it could do for you, what is that? What's the one problem it should be solving for you next year?
One problem that technology can solve for me is actually allow me to read a book seamlessly. Yeah.
Okay.
So, because we can do the scan text, that's brilliant. And yes, it is quite accurate.
You know, we're an incredibly resourceful community, right? We'll try and fix things and make things work, especially when it's something that it looks so cool. But
it looks cool. Yeah. Yeah. So the thing is, I think for me, if I could just pick up a book and just read it, like, you know, a normal person in quotes would be able to, that would be a game changer for me. And I know there's audio books out there, but it's all that stuff about finding your place where you were and all this sort of thing. I could pick up a book, click to a page, and just get that information pretty much straight to it, and that'll make my life. It'll just give me back that love of reading, basically.
Yeah, it's interesting though. It is that sort of perspective of making the user experience so friendly, right? So with scan text, you can scan multiple pages and listen back and scroll forward or get a summary and do all this kind of cool things. But I think the way we're moving forward is with Ally, which is the AI assistant on the glasses. There's so much personalization that can be done with that. And you can ask it to carry on reading where you were before, or you can ask it to tell you exactly where you are. And also, it's like talking to a friend. It's mind blowing at the moment, but I'm not here to talk too much about Ally, but I do strongly suggest try it out. I'd love your feedback on Ally as well.
One thing very quickly, also for me, I think the other thing would be that if there was something I could wear, and I know you can say, you know, some of the things you can say, what am I looking at or whatever, but somewhere that could describe where I was actually walking to, what's coming up in front of me, that would be really useful. Navigation would be brilliant. Yeah, exactly. That would be really good for me. Because,
absolutely,
you know, and rather than having to use a smart cane, which sometimes may or may not work, you know, rather than using something like with the Be My Eyes, you have the volunteers you can call. Yes, you can have that facility and you can do that, but that's reliant on, again, somebody being there at the end of the phone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's,
I totally understand. And I think navigation is a massive area. There's so many things going on at the moment. We're talking to so many different companies. I think it's just, there are, how do I say it? I think there's more ways of actually providing that service. There's more options. So there's sort of more companies in that space trying the different routes to do that. Excuse the pun. But I know we're talking to so many of them, and I am really confident that we'll be able to get something like that up onto the Envision Glasses and the Ally as well, because at some point, you know, you can already say to Ally, how far away is this and this, or guide me to this location. I was just in Rotterdam Central Station to the office. I could get a guidance in terms of this is what you need to do, but in terms of actual real-time feedback, I think that's, and to be safe enough. And I think obviously, and I'm stating the obvious here, I think in getting a scene description or getting reading, we can afford to have it 90% or even 80% good, right? But when you're getting navigated and having navigation and being guided, you've got to get that 100%. And I think that's also makes it harder for these navigation services to come to market, because nobody is going to use them until they're 100% safe. And at the moment, I think there isn't anything, right?
No.
Not 100%. But there again, if we're using our canes, right? There's many moments we have to take our lives into our hands. We go through all the checks and listen and do all that training, but at some point you just have to own it and cross the street
and hope for the best.
I know. I had cane training this week, and it was all about owning it. I know, because it's so dark at night. I now have a full cane, and actually I feel so much happier with it.
That's brilliant. I'm really pleased. I'm really pleased doing that. I'm really pleased. Honestly.
No, I am.
It's a game changer.
It is, but it was a huge stigma to get over. But anyways, all that.
Yeah, I know that. I used long cane for a long time. I've only started using it 2021. Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. This was my first winter, first dark days with it. So anyways, but it does, you know, it's funny because it has a magic of its own. People part like the Red Sea, and
they do.
There are times when I see the people's reactions and their faces, and they can't quite understand, well, how could she see that, and why does she need a long cane? But hey, I'm not there to explain RP to them, right? So we'll move on. But Seema, thank you. That was really nice. So now tell me, this is what I've been waiting for. You mentioned these three great things that you've achieved, that you're so proud of around this community, this movement that you've done, the training that you've been doing for organizations and the learning curve around that. And of course, this general awareness that you're bringing towards the blind, low vision needs and access needs, but also for wider accessibility needs as well. But you were also talking about what's coming. So 2025, what's going on?
Well, hopefully we're hoping to be able to be in the space of actually supporting more visually impaired people back into work, basically.
Right.
Hoping to try to support as much as we can, but also working with other organisations in the VI sector, making links with them in terms of the links. Sorry, no, not making links. Sorry, using the links we've got already, but also building on the foundation that we have, and also working with other organisations to create those opportunities for people to come to a certain place. For example, we're trying to create a web space, basically, where we can actually build a talent pool of
nice
blind, partially sighted people. Yeah,
brilliant.
We've used some, we've got something that's going to be, it's being in development phase at the moment. I can't say too much about it, March, but we will just watch this space, basically. Things are coming forward where we're going to be able to support more people getting back into work, and making it sort of a one-stop shop, as it were, rather than having to go to different.
So lovely.
Yeah.
And I know that, I know it's not related, but talking about a one-stop shop, I know that the Thomas Poplington, RNIB and Guide Dogs work together on a product selector feature, I think currently on the Guide Dog site, but you go into that and you put in what you like doing, need to do, want to do, and then it brings up a selection of products, assistive technology products that it recommends. It's not, from what I heard, the catalog and the category kind of, they need to add more content and more products. So that's good for companies like us to be in there. We are, thank goodness. But I think that kind of one-stop shop is about time. I think every country is different, right? So every country has its own ecosystem for the blind, low vision community. And, in the UK, obviously, it's very special. So providing something that is not tied to just one VI organization is fantastic.
Definitely. We believe that we want to work with anyone who wants to work with us, basically, in terms of making sure that we create a lifestyle for visually impaired people that is, stress-free, and allows them to be able to be who they want to be.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's fantastic. And so for people who are interested by this, we're hoping that we've had some good listeners today and that people are intrigued to know more. What can they do to find out more about Blind Ambition and maybe this new secret squirrel project that's coming out next year? Where do they need to go?
They can find us on www.blindambition.co.uk. We also are on Instagram and on LinkedIn.
Good. Seema, thank you so much for sharing this journey and this great news that I'm now so intrigued about with us today, but also, what your motivations are and sharing your personal story as well. That's very kind of you. Your work's really inspiring, and I wish you really all the success as things move forward. I, for one, are definitely going to be following your space very closely. So for all our listeners, thank you for tuning in today to this episode on the Envision podcast. If you've enjoyed the conversation, be sure to follow Envision also on our social medias and stay up to date on our latest news and innovations. And you can do that at Twitter or X at Let's Envision. Instagram is also Let's Envision. So is Facebook at Let's Envision. And on LinkedIn, we're Envision Technologies. And don't forget also to check out our website at let'senvision.com. And when you can learn from more about our products and even book a free demo if you want to. So stay tuned for our next episode. If you've got ideas for episodes or people you'd like us to talk to or topics you'd like us to cover, please let us know. And you just put your thoughts down below, and we'll hope to bring you more inspiring stories and thoughts from the wonderful blind low vision community around us. Thank you.